and clothing that comes in.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so I think that helps a lot too.
Good. Michelle, how we doing on, is Gary having problems?
You're muted.
I got nothing. Did you hear anything?
She's muted. Do you guys hear any background noise from me?
Like a radio?
Back noise, but I don't know who it is.
Radio or TV or anything? Do you hear something?
I hear like a radio.
But we don't know whether it's you or not. We
Okay.
did hear the background.
Let me try the TV a little bit lower.
Where is it? Yeah, hit view. Okay.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
You want the line on you?
Yeah, that's okay.
All right, we got Gary.
Yeah, you got me.
Okay, is that any better, guys? Is that any better for background?
Yes.
Yes, that
I
sounds
have
better.
the TV on low for Jim, but since it's a game, he can see what's going on. He doesn't have to actually hear what's going on.
Okay, Michelle, are you okay?
We're good. Let's go.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Let's kind of, I don't know how we're gonna do the flag salute because everybody's off on their words.
Just defensive with it.
Can we just move our mouths and just fake it real easy? I guess, I don't know how, because we're all gonna be off kilter. Okay, I'll start it, then you just kind of say it to yourself, or Michelle, do we need that for the YouTube people?
No, you could dispense with the flag salute, Mayor.
Okay, that sounds even better. Okay, right, I'll need a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll move.
I'll
that
second.
we accept.
Moved and second, any discussion? We'll vote on it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
I
Is
didn't
somebody
hear-
opposed?
I'm not sure.
Uh,
Let's try this again. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Let's get on with our reports. Mike, since you're on the screen, you want to go ahead?
Yep, sure thing. Hello, everybody. So
Hello.
here about a month and a half ago or so, we had a tree in our right-of-way fall down on one of our residents' fences. They brought a bid into City Hall, and it ended up being like $1,598 for the fence damage. I tried to get a hold of them. I've been to their house once, and I've drove by a couple times. I didn't see any cars there to find out exactly why it was so much. I looked at the damage myself. I don't know what kind of fence it is. It didn't look that expensive, but I don't know. So I assume it's probably going to get turned over to the insurance because it's such an expensive fix if I can't get a hold of them and see if we can't work something else out. So, and that's how that's probably going to end up going. I assume if they require it to be the whole fence to be replaced or what, I don't know, but it just seemed a little bit high to me. So until I can talk to them, I don't know. I'll try to make contact this week a couple more times, and then we'll see how that works. Just so you know how that goes. Like I say, if it's that much, I'm sure it'll go to insurance, and then they can work it out that way. So started putting up the one-way signs today over on 6th. We put a few up, and they're bagged, so nobody can see them yet. So they're not going to be all confused. Called in for locates. Tomorrow we'll drill the holes and set the rest of the posts and try to get all the rest of the signs in. So that way, when they come back from the holiday, it'll be the one way. We should have everything set to go for that. Today, this afternoon, I got a call from the girls in the office. It seems we have a leak at City Hall. It's in an area where I can't use a ladder to get to. I assume because of the heavy rain, that's when it started. We'll definitely keep monitoring it. If we have to do it before, we will get somebody out. But if we can wait until I take the Christmas tree apart, we're gonna rent a lift to do that, and then I can get up on there myself and see, and that would try to save some money that way. But if it keeps downpouring and they keep getting marched out in the city hall there, we may have to call somebody out. And then the last thing I have is we had our staff picnic potluck the other day, and how that went was really good. John Cravens got a deal for his achievement on the biosolids. He worked really hard on that, getting that lined out. So I felt that he needed an achievement so he could, feel good about that. And the mayor signed it and I signed it and he ended up getting it. Oh, that worked out good. He was very happy about that, very appreciative. So, that's about all I got.
Ron, go ahead.
Yeah, the one question I had or a comment was, have we considered those individuals with the fence of sending them a certified letter, put the onus back on them to contact you regarding it? Maybe you write a letter and say, I made numerous attempts to contact you. So then they can't say, well, you didn't make any attempts, and that might, it costs a couple bucks for the certified letter, but it might be well worth the effort and time, and then put the responsibility back on them to do it. And might even ask in that letter that they would forward you the details of the estimate as to what they were going to do. So.
Right. I think the estimate just shows the bottom line. It doesn't really say anything about what they're repairing. It just says materials and labor.
Yeah. And that's totally unacceptable for that.
Yeah.
Linda,
Also, I have a question along those lines, and it's kind of like maybe for Michelle too. Do we have any kind of an ordinance or any kind of policy that, if I realize when we as a city are doing anything, we have to get the lowest bid, that kind of thing. Does that play into something like this too? And quite frankly, folks, just years ago, not even quite 6 years ago, when I approached the city to do a privacy fence in the back, which I did receive permission to do, we just have not acted on it because at the time it was going to be about 2,000 to 2,500, and that was to take in the entire length of my house and clear up on the side. So for somebody to have a fence repair for 1,500 makes me kind of go, okay, that's like, would have been just, I mean, that would have been 3/4 of a fence that we were looking at putting in. So, just saying.
And they would need to have receipts to
Yeah.
back up the claim of $1,500.
Yeah, I just feel like that's kind of extreme, just because I know that we actually looked in and we had, when we were resetting the cyclone fence in front from our house fire, that's when we had that contractor bid us on the privacy fence in the back, and it was the nice heavy plastic panels, not the wood, so that they didn't have to be painted, wouldn't rot. We did all of that, and like I said, it literally went from the back end of my house, which is several feet, and back and around on the side and come back in, and it had gates and everything, and it was about $2,500. So 1,500 is a bit much for me for a repair, but I'm just saying.
But I think the real key is what you said about there should be a legitimate bidding process, legitimate estimate rather than just material plus labor, flat numbers, because you should have a detailed understanding of what's going to take place. and why it's going to take place, you know.
I even had to have a bid for tearing down our old home, even because the insurance company was paying it. And so we had to have a bid for that, and we only had so much money to work with. And it was still our decision to go with whoever. But, you know, if we wanted the guy that was going to charge $8,000 when we only had 5,000 to work with, that was on us, you know, so.
Yes, and the whole reason that I was trying to make contact was to try to get that information. What, you know, what were they doing? What did they need? What, you know, what was going on with it that it would cost that much to repair? It looked to me to be an 8 or a 10-foot section that got crushed. So,
Mike, you know, the gold prices went way up, so maybe they're making it out of gold.
well, you know, it did kind of shine. So I don't know.
Okay, let's move on. Any other discussions?
So I want to just add real quickly on that too. Generally, property that's a city property that's next to a residential area, the resident is responsible for the area. This isn't a weird area. It's actually in that gully that would be 3rd Street. And so there's a lot of trees and different debris, you know, down in that gully. So it is a hard place probably to get into. So that might be part of the bid. I don't know. But it is one of those weird things, like anybody else, if, you know, the city probably would not take responsibility for it. It would be the property owner's responsibility. It is a weird one though, because of it being all in that undeveloped 3rd Street. That's all a big ditch.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Mike? Thank you, Mike. Chief,
Thank you.
you're up.
Hi, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
We hear you. We hear you.
Operations are normal. Merry Christmas.
Is there any questions for the chief on normal business that he's taking care of? No questions. Thank you, Chief. Michelle, you're up.
Okay. So in your packet, there's some informational stuff that I wanted you guys just to be aware of. The first one being on the gray sheet. It talks about the Vision IT. So there was a problem with solar winds making the national news and some issues. So this is just to kind of let you guys know that we're still safe, that there wasn't a breach into our system, so that you guys could feel comfortable about that. I wanted you to know. And then the other thing is, there's my response back to this Lewis County Lollipop Guild that had contacted the city. And after I only asked Jill to print the first 2 pages, I realized that some of you weren't in the thread or your emails were wrong. And so a little bit of background information on what happened here was back in June. I think council met on a Monday, and we had a request on Tuesday or Wednesday that they wanted to decorate the gazebo to celebrate Black Lives Matter and other things. They were also trying to get something from the state DOT to do stuff on the bridge. So I contacted everybody, I think at that time, and a response was that we don't allow things, you know, anybody to put any signs or anything up. And the concern at that time was, if we allowed one person, you cannot allow somebody else that may be more controversial or, you know, something like that. So I know that right after that, I had another email from this group because we said, you know, no. The DOT did allow them to put their flags on the bridge, which they promptly took down as soon as the event was over. So that was really nice to see. So they weren't scattered about. And, you know, it was very peaceful. I think John observed it too.
Yeah, it was a good event.
It was a good event. And, you know, there's been conversation back and forth, but soon after that, I had an email, well, you guys have Christmas lights up at the gazebo. It was when we just had the white lights, you know, that we kept up all year. And I didn't respond back because it was just a comment and I didn't feel it warranted. Well, since then, this Lollipop Guild, which is kind of a Lewis County thing to help different groups out, contacted me and said that, you know, they were very surprised that when they drove through, you know, a couple weeks ago, they saw Christmas decorations everywhere. And so they wanted the right to be able to put up their stuff and wanted to make sure that we were aware that, you know, public requests would be done and that this would be record. And he came off as a little bit blunt in his first email. And then after he probably thought about it, he wrote again, and he wrote to all your guys's what he thought was your email addresses, and was also requesting your email addresses. And so he wrote back, said that, you know, I might have been a little harsh with my first email. I don't want you to take the decorations down. It brings a little bit of joy.
And she's out.
Wow. She's frozen in time.
Yeah.
Michelle.
So,
Oh,
Pop
okay.
Guild,
Am I
Hang
back?
on.
back.
We lost
She's
you.
back.
You froze in time.
That was weird.
Part of what we heard was that they didn't want the Christmas lights to come down because it does bring joy, yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
And
So I went ahead and did some research and showed, you know, what our rules are, that it could be a nuisance if anybody just starts putting things up. If they wanted to, you know, rent the park out, they could do an event there, you know, how they could put stuff up, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so in the meantime, I let them know that you guys will all have your own private city emails. And so those will be going out. They should have gone out already, but and so you'll all have your own city emails with your passwords. So we'll get that out to you and how to get on those. And then since then he did write back. He was a little bit confused, thinking that the gazebo was a park and he could still put stuff up there. So I let him know that no, our park is the Kemp Olson Memorial Park that's down in the south end of town. And that's what I was actually talking about. So that's what that is about. And I don't know if you guys have any other comments on it, but that's what was going on with that. On the Friday before, there was a new legislative meeting with all the cities involved in Lewis County. We do have some different new representatives now. There's going to be 2 new Lewis County commissioners that, you know, I encourage people to get out and know. And we do have some other people. Richard DeBolt had been a great advocate for Toledo and others. So now Peter Arbano is going to be our new representative in the 20th district. And then in the 19th district, which part of Lewis County is in, Jeff Wilson will be the new senator taking over Dean Taco's position. So just a little bit of background on that. The city did receive that $634,000 in appropriations. And a lot of that was because of Richard DeBolt, and the mayor, when he personally contacted everybody in the 19th and 20th district to let them know what we were doing and why we were doing it. And that helped us out tremendously too. So that was kind of nice to get them on board, and we'll just have to bring them up to speed. Hopefully one day we can meet with them, not through Zoom, I don't know, and let them know what Toledo's needs, wants, desires, all of that are. So that's a good thing. The Planning Commission, as you know, have been working tremendously on this comprehensive plan, and it is pretty much finished. And so I want to get the document out to you guys. I want to have like a discussion at our next council meeting in January. And so I need to know how you would like to receive it, but through internet, email, or if you want a paper copy, or both, it doesn't matter. I will do whatever you guys want to see done. I will invite the Planning Commission members to come to that meeting too, so that if you have some questions, you can ask them. But I want to get this document out sooner than later, so you have plenty of time, because there is a lot of stuff to go over.
Michelle, how large is the document? How many pages? Several hundred or?
No, not several hundred, but it's probably close to 100, I would say.
I mean, cost effectiveness, I would think that a digital copy would probably be, I don't need to have a copy floating around here. If I need to know anything, I refer to you or call the city, but I don't know how everybody else feels, so.
I'm one of those people that like paper and I like to write stuff on it and stuff, things like that. So
Paper is nice. I just don't want to, I don't want to put more stress on your staff already. So,
yeah, I just want to do whatever's convenient for you guys because it is such an important document.
well, then if you put it that way, I really do want paper. I'm just trying to be nice.
Okay. Maybe I'll send it out both ways and that way you guys can decide how you want to look at it. And okay. So be looking for that to come out. That's all I have.
Is there any other questions for Michelle?
My only question is there any action that we need to do in response to the Lollipop Guild? Do we just need to take in, is there any response, official response, other than what has already been done that needs to be done? Or do we just, at this point in time, wait until future requests, whether from that group or similar groups that would have, and by similar groups, I mean people that have a particular interest rather than somebody who is just representing every citizen in the whole county, which whether or not just take those requests on a case-by-case basis and establish the president that we have, that if we begin to respond to one, then we really have to respond to all, and that it makes the most sense to take the stance that we have, and the only things that we would decorate. I can understand if I'm a Jewish person, then I might be self-conscious about or upset if you have a Christmas tree and don't have a Hanukkah tree or lamp. But the fact of the matter is that we have taken and we've established certain traditions that either we need to take and say, well, those are our traditions, or we need to come up with a plan to revise those. And at this point in time, that is not something that can be done on a Monday to be accomplished on a Friday. It's something that could take a lot of consideration. And because we really have to represent what the needs of all the individuals, not only the ones that are making the request. So, but I just didn't know what, at this point in time, if there was anything additional that we do need to do, or do you feel as though it's been handled satisfactory for Kyle?
Ron, I think that first paragraph to Kyle says it all about 7.1.1 public nuisance defined A-13. I think that says it all for covering us. Poles, everything. You can't put no signs up. We do have a signboard up at the intersection of 5th and 505. They can put any signs they want on that. Other than that, or like the city park, like Michelle said, they can do that if they have an event. We're okay with that. But as far as the gazebo, I think it covers it in that first paragraph. Is that correct, Michelle?
If the council wants to make a different decision, that's a council decision, and they could, make whatever decision they want. So if you feel that there's more of a response that's warranted, that's what we need to do. But that's up to the council to make that decision.
And to be totally honest with you, that was not my motivation to do something additional. My motivation was really, do we feel as though we've responded in a situation that he will accept? Or is this something that we need to look into further because we anticipate further action or whatever word we want to use on his part? That was my question. Yeah.
May I jump in here? When I read his letter, it was my understanding that he was concerned about it being a certain, yeah, like Christian or whatnot, like, like it wasn't, a level playing field that he was thinking of. But if you look at the all of the decorations that we have up, there's nothing that says one way or the other. It is light in the darkness. It is like, it's pretty lights on a tree is what it is. That's what we've put up there. I don't think it means it can mean anything you want it to mean. It's no certain way. I don't feel like we need to respond because it's really not that big of a deal. He's just more concerned about, he wants it to be fair. And I think he didn't fully understand the city's position.
Yeah, and I would agree with you. And I think that if a person was a hyper conservative, devout Christian, then they would probably have an equal amount of concern about the decorations that we use as somebody who was of another persuasion as far as the holiday. And I wasn't in the least bit suggesting that we would take further action as much as asking whether or not it would, there was a concern on your part, the mayor and the chef part, that we would look into it further and establish. But if the feeling is that where we are right now is satisfactory, then I certainly if this is the end of it, then I would say that this is that's all we should go. And as you said, just make sure that we're consistent in that, and that has never been an issue. But just make sure that we're consistent across the board for any other requests that are similar. Yeah, I have something about banjo players, but we're still gonna let the fiddlers come. So.
Is there any other comments? Let's move on to the new business. Accept the final TIB roadway and sidewalk improvement. I'll entertain a motion for that, please.
I'll make a motion to accept the final TIB.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? We'll vote on it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 2 on the new business, accept contract Robinson Noble water rights. I'll entertain a motion on that one, please.
I make a motion that we accept the proposal.
And I would second, but then I wanted discussion.
Yes.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion?
Just clarification. This, if I'll tell you what I'm thinking, and you tell me whether or not I'm on the right thing, that we're hiring or obtaining the help of this firm to facilitate gaining the access to the water rights that the school district currently have, so that we can extend the line up to Clemente. Is that what it's about or not?
You got part of it correct.
Okay.
So what this was, we had hired these people on, this is part of our $634,000 grant. And part of that grant is to look at obtaining additional water rights, updating our comprehensive plan and design of water and sewer lines to Plumondon. And so the school thing did not work out at all. And so this is the next step of what we're working towards. And so this is a new, kind of an addition to the contract to be able to hire them to do additional work on our water rights. And, we had a really good meeting too last week on how they feel we should approach ecology. And so things are going in the right direction. I actually feel pretty positive about it. I mean, we've had a water right application in since 1995, but I really feel that with this group that we've hired and with the water rights attorney, I think we're moving at a little bit faster than a snail or slug or turtle, but you know, not as fast as the rabbit like I'd want to go. So it's just additional work and getting us to a point where we can have an application or have something more positive on the water, getting additional water rights. But it has nothing to do with the school. The school is out.
I just thought I saw the school somewhere on the paperwork. And it's like,
Oh, yeah, that didn't work out, unfortunately. They did a test on that well. And so when the water was being pulled, it wasn't, I think the terminology is recharging fast enough. So there wasn't enough water there to help us. It was, yeah, unfortunate for us and the school.
you guys' lights blinking?
Yeah, mine's flickering all over the place.
That's-
Yes,
Windy out there. Oh, yeah.
Fabulous.
Mine's
Okay.
flickering too.
Hurry up, Aaron. Next subject.
Okay.
Let's vote.
Okay, no more discussion on that. Let's vote. All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on. Ordinance number, I'm not going to read it. Everybody's read it. Ordinance number 761.
Yeah.
On the second reading. I'll entertain a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 761 on its second reading.
Do I hear a
I'll
second?
second that.
Okay, it's
I'll
been
second that
moved,
motion.
moved and second. Any other discussion? Okay, quickly. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did we lose somebody?
Opposed?
Oh, we lost Ron.
We lost Ron?
Lost one.
Okay,
Well, we're going to lose everybody else if we don't hurry.
unanimous.
Yeah.
Okay,
Unanimous.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to accept ordinance number 762 on its second reading.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. No other unfinished business. We got other business, COVID-19 updates. Michelle, can you highlight some of that and we'll get out of here?
admit Ron real quick. So, I mean, everybody reads the newspaper, sees the TV, what's going on. A lot of you are signed up for the updates for Lewis County. You know, the vaccine is, there's a couple different vaccines. They're saying there's a new strain now. They don't know if the vaccine's going to work. There's so much going on. I mean, who knows? So COVID's here and we're going into 2021. There's going to be some new funding with COVID. What that means at this point, I don't know. We were able to spend over $32,000 of the grant that we received, which was all of it. So we actually spent a little bit more than that, but we'll just keep plugging along and doing what we can. And, you know, I think everybody's keeping informed on what's going on.
Did everybody get back on?
Nice to see you, Ron.
Yeah. I'm on my phone.
Okay,
Did
we
everybody,
went through pretty quickly, Ron, of the ordinances and got them all voted. So we are now down to accepting adjourn from somebody.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor,
aye.
Aye.
before your lights go out.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. You guys all have a great holiday.
Yeah,
Merry
have a good
Christmas.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Goodbye.